Honestly, this could not have picked any worse possible time to happen to me. I've been in this situation before. I've been homeless before in this Dubai, and I've worked so hard to make sure it never happens to me again. And to find out that this is happening to me, and this is like the worst possible time. You know, sometimes you anticipate like things are going down. You anticipate like I have not planned very well, and you're like, yeah, maybe I might end up homeless. But this was so abrupt, so instant. Anyway, I've decided to document it because I feel very depressed, and I was feeling like I'm going to the deep end of depression. Yesterday, I think around 8 p.m, the apartment below mine caught fire. So everyone, of course, jumped and we were exiting the building. I grabbed my 2 bags. I even forgot my laptop bag inside the room. I grabbed my 2 bags, carried the things that I could lay my hands on, and all of us, we jumped out. I know I've seen fires before in Dubai, and usually like there is a fire, they put it out, and then people go back in the building. So when we moved out, I kind of hoped we would go back. And so I knew when I reached outside, I realized I didn't have my laptop bag, so I knew I would go back and get it. Like, I knew we would go back. Also, to give you another kind of explanation why this is like the worst possible time. A while ago, I had saved up a little bit, and I was like, you know what? It is time to get an apartment, for myself and live more comfortably. And as you know, in Dubai, most apartments, you pay rent per year. So obviously I had paid up, not the full year, but I had paid up half. So my payment plan was to pay twice in a year. You pay for 6 months, and then you pay the other half before the first 6 months end. So I had spent almost all the money I had to rent this apartment and to buy all the things that I was using in the apartment. And then fire. Which happened, I was like, you know what? I didn't even know which unit caught fire until we reached outside. When we reached outside, that is when I realized it was the unit below mine. And the disadvantage was that it was a gas fire. I think they left the gas open and then someone lit or something. So the fire spread very, very fast into the adjoining apartments, into the next apartment. So mine, since it was up, obviously when the fire is spreading, it spreads going upwards. So fire caught my apartment too and everything. So when we were outside, obviously as they were putting out the fire, I still hoped like, I think maybe when the fire's out, I'll be safe, I'll go back and live my life. But that wasn't true. So when the fire people, they completed, of course the police was there it was until like 2 a.m. By 2 a.m, that's when they let people back into the building. But the affected units, people could not go back, obviously, for obvious reasons. And mine was inclusive. I'm really trying not to cry because I've had a very long, hard time. So when they let people back inside, I realized that I was not going back inside. I was really devastated. My body was shaking. I didn't know what I was going to do because I have like put down everything. So I didn't have pre-plans of like where I am going to stay. Obviously, I wasn't expecting this to happen. And the courage of calling people that I know or friends and telling them like, hey, can I come to your place? I don't honestly have that naturally. I do not. So I couldn't pick myself up to call people. What I did, there's a bus stop near my place. So I went to the bus stop with my things and I was there almost stranded. This is 2 a.m. Most buses have stopped moving at that time, and the metro is closed. So I was in the bus stop for like 2 hours, I think. So most buses start around 4 a.m. to move. So by like 4:30, the first bus that came is the first bus that I took. I have no plans of where I'm going. I didn't even tag in that bus. I just went inside. I didn't pull out my card. I carried my bags. I went inside. I sat. They drove, and I've ended up in Jumeirah. So right now I'm in Jumeirah. I've honestly been here once, and for different purposes. I don't know this place honestly, but when I was in the bus, I saw a public park, so I stopped on the next stop. Actually, there was a stop right on the park, but I didn't see the post of the park before the bus stop, which is on the park. Don't know if that makes sense. So when we reached the next stop, I got out and pulled my bags, came back towards the park. Now behind there is a beach. There is a beach behind, and then Burj Al Arab Hotel, that 7-star hotel. Yeah. So I'm just here. I was feeling so depressed. I reached here around maybe 5. It was still a little bit dark, very cold. I was so cold. And the buses are very cold. When I reached, in fact, I didn't go into the park immediately because I wasn't sure if they allow people inside the park at that time. I waited until I could see like people come around the beach inside the park, people running inside the park. That is when I came inside. And at first I thought, you know what, I'm going to go inside this park and then I'm going to sleep. Then once I wake up, I'll go figure out, where to sleep or something, find a bed space. But then I feel like, I spent a great time in medical school, so I can recognize if I'm feeling depressed, sometimes people are depressed and they don't know that they are depressed. I can't even tell you like, hey, I know I'm depressed, but I was having very many thoughts. I was thinking, having so many regrets. I was like, I wish I had gone back home in Uganda. I wish I had so many regrets, and my mind was racing. I felt like, what, let me pull out the camera and I start recording, because creating content is like my safe space. This is something I have kind of dedicated to be my career. To rent that apartment, it was for me to have a private space where I can record my videos, where I can edit, where I can create my content in peace, in my privacy, and now that is gone. But I know creating content is something that I love. I said, you know what, let me put out a camera and try to document this. It's not been easy, honestly. Documenting this, it's not been easy because I keep falling into a depression state. Like right now, I'm very hungry, and I looked there is I see hot fish. So I tried to like, can I go there and I buy some fish? I have some small money, it's not a lot of money. But then I'm thinking, if I go buy fish, this is Jumeirah. Jumeirah is very expensive. I don't even want to find out how much that is, because I already know that I cannot afford it. Because I know this is Jumeirah, it is a very expensive place. This is a place whereby the dispensing machines, whereby you buy water for 1 dirham elsewhere, the machine is telling you that the water is 2 dirham or even 3 dirham. So you can imagine, if it is a food place where they are selling fish, it has to be more expensive. So I'm gonna ignore that, because as much as I'm here hiding away from my problems, hiding away from my reality, or I don't even know what I'm doing here, because I'm just here, I'm like frozen into space. I'm like frozen. I don't want to think, I don't want to plan, I just want to disappear. I know eventually I have to go and face my reality. I have to go and find a place to sleep. I have to go and talk to the landlord and see how long it will take to fix the apartment. I have to go and face my life, I know I have to do that eventually, as much as I'm hiding here. So I cannot go spending the small money that I have on very expensive Jumeirah food. No, I cannot. I don't even think I'm allowed to sit on this grass. There are some chairs, obviously, because this is a park, but most of them, they are having sun, a lot of sun. And then the ones which are under the shade, there are many people there. So I cannot sit very near to people who are minding their business. And I start sobbing, I might make them sad unnecessarily. Well, one of my bags, because I keep my day-to-day clothes, I keep them not inside the suitcase. So most of my clothes were still inside the room. Whether they literally didn't allow me to go back inside, I don't even know what survived, what didn't survive, because they said there was fire inside my unit. They said I cannot go inside. So also, because when I was moving out, I stupidly locked the door. So when they were going inside, they had to break the door. They didn't have time to look for a key or something. They broke inside. I didn't expect fire to come to my unit. This could not have picked the worst time. There couldn't be any worse time than this. Many people find themselves in tough situations, and they find a way to be positive. And I really want to be positive. I want to be positive, but it is so hard. When I try to think oh, thank God, at least I got some clothes. And I'm I feel like I am pretending to say that. I feel like I'm saying it because maybe that's what people say. I don't feel grateful for anything. This is bad. I should be grateful for something. But I've really worked so hard. I've worked so hard really hard to make sure that everything comes into place, I have saved up all my money and thought hey, I have planned. This should never happen to me again. I should never be homeless. But I think I need to move. I need to move to another place because I feel like I'm getting, as I'm talking things out, which is therapeutic for me. Creating content, telling my story is therapeutic. Eventually I feel relieved, I have talked about it. Now I can move on eventually. But right now I feel I want to sob. I feel I don't feel good. So I'm going to move around, maybe capture some videos, see if I can add them into this video. That is if I do decide to upload it, because this is a very sad situation and I'm not sure if I would want to share this with the world. Like everyone else on social media, we try to front our best of the lives that we lead. So when situations such as this happen, we like to sit back and first deal with the bad situation and then come back to smile online like everyone else. Also, I'm very hungry. It is almost midday. I'm kind of very hungry because I've not eaten anything, obviously. I took some water, but I will need food. So I need to go. I had a lot of food stocked in my fridge.